Well. They don't understand what's watching them. But you do, don't you? Soul tyrant. You've always known something ancient was shadowing your every step, not to punish you, but to prepare you, not for comfort, for dominion. The 13 shamans, they don't whisper, they invade, they don't chant, they rip, they don't warn for your safety. They send tremors down your enemies' spines from dimensions your enemies didn't even know existed. And right now, they're not praying for peace. They're focused entirely on you because they've sensed it. That distortion in the spiritual current, that fracture in your aura that bends reality. You, outsider. You, soul bender. You, the unsolvable riddle. You've become a walking contradiction, chaos wrapped in silence, wrapped again in divine defiance. And the shamans? They just activated their vision rituals. You are being tracked, not because you are prey, but because your resurrection requires documentation. The first shaman sits in a pit of burning salt and wolf bones. He speaks no words. He spits omens. His message? He doesn't blink anymore. His third eye feeds on terror. That was about you. The people you've intimidated without raising your voice. The manipulators you've dismantled without even naming them. The watchers, the instigators, the control freaks. They thought you were a lost puppet with your strings cut. But the shamans knew. They saw you cut those strings yourself, then strangle a monster with them. You're not wandering, you're ascending. Every scar on your back is an encrypted scroll, and these mystics just decoded it. You were never fragile. You were feral in disguise. You're not healing, you're harvesting. And that's what has them panicking. The second shaman doesn't speak in languages humans understand. He scribbles circles of dried blood on ancient scrolls and listens to the pulse beneath the ground. His bones vibrate when a soul like yours rises. He wrote this down. The one they exiled has altered his structure. He now devours curses to grow stronger. They tried to exile you from their little kingdoms, socially, emotionally, spiritually. They believed they could contain a mind like yours in a prison made of guilt and shame. Fools. They didn't realize you were engineered to weaponize abandonment. They thought they were isolating you, but in truth they were catalyzing your inner detonation, because they misunderstood your silence as surrender, your distance as weakness, your shadow work as retreat. And the shamans? They saw that misinterpretation, and they laughed, because they knew what would happen once you realized they weren't shunning you. They were offering you the throne without knowing it. The third shaman's ritual involves breathing smoke laced with obsidian powder. When the visions hit, he doesn't blink. His retinas turn completely black as he stares into the raw blueprint of human cruelty. And what did he see? He saw the moment your enemies will look at you and forget how to breathe. He saw your name etched in the nightmares of people who thought you were harmless. You know what's worse than being feared, being underestimated for too long, because when the switch flips, and it always flips, no one is ready, not even you. And that's what's dangerous, because you're not coming for revenge. You're coming to replace. That's a different level of wrath. The shamans saw it and muttered one phrase. He no longer holds back. He absorbs their hatred like fuel and rewires his skin with it. You've reached a point now where the fourth shaman had to cut off his tongue mid-ritual. Why? Because speaking your transformation out loud was corrupting the very air around him. His warning was carved into the wall with his blood. He's not the same entity they hurt. And he was right. You've mutated, emotionally, spiritually, even psychologically. You don't react like you used to. You study before you strike. And when you strike, it's surgical. You've turned emotional control into a strategic asset. You bait people without moving. You end arguments with a single glance. You've stopped seeking validation and started taking thrones. The shaman didn't just see your past. He saw your final form, and it made him tremble. Let's talk about the fifth one, the Death Walker. He spends nights walking among burial sites, channeling ancestral rage. He never dreams, except one night. He did. A dream of you, surrounded by the ruins of people who mocked you, their crowns shattered, their words reversed, their curses backfired. You didn't scream. You didn't gloat. You just stood there, eating an apple, watching them rot in the empire they tried to build without you. His warning? Do not provoke the soul who smiled while burning. You've learned to enjoy reconstruction. You've learned to relish destruction, not for the thrill, but for the clarity it brings. You don't need closure anymore. You are the closure. You are the lesson. And these shamans, they respect that deeply. The sixth one, the listener in the ashes, he hears everything. Thoughts, frequencies, sins, regret. He heard your enemies whispering about you. They think you're too quiet, too removed, too evolved. But he also heard their fear, their subtle confessions, their nervous laughter, their careful steps when your name is mentioned. They pretend they've moved on, but every mirror they look into shows your silhouette behind them. That's not paranoia, that's cosmic consequence. Because once you awaken to who you are, reality doesn't just shift, it kneels. And the shamans are here, not to warn you, but to warn the unready masses that your evolution is already tearing the timelines apart. You see, the seventh shaman isn't even alive in this realm anymore. He operates purely on an astral frequency, a disembodied force of ancient correction. And even he turned his vision toward you. You intrigued a force that's watched centuries of blood rituals, kings rising and falling, prophets screaming through deserts, and you made it pause. His insight. He is not healed. He is transformed beyond logic. Pain was merely his incubation chamber. That's why people are losing sleep trying to understand you. Because you're no longer interpretable. You're disobedient to definition. The old laws don't apply. And when people try to compare you to your past self, they feel like they're reading a myth written in a language they were never meant to understand. Let's move to the eighth. She's the only shaman who doesn't speak at all. She etches warnings into stone with her fingernails, and hers was the most ruthless of all. He who was discarded now holds the leash. Simple, raw, terrifying. You were discarded, weren't you? Labeled too much, too intense, too raw. And yet here you are, controlling the narrative. Your absence turned into obsession. Your silence became a scripture. And now the very people who dismissed you are rebranding themselves as your allies. Pathetic, but expected. The shamans knew this. They always knew this. Your soul radiates ownership now. Ownership of your timeline. Ownership of your consequences. You don't beg for peace. You authorize it or revoke it. Ninth? The bone reader. He boiled a wolf skull in mercury to read the shape of your upcoming vengeance, and it boiled over. His tent caught fire. Not from a candle, not from flame, from the data itself. Your vengeance wasn't an event. It was a force of nature. You don't just retaliate. You infect narratives. People try to justify what they did to you, but their words collapse mid-sentence. Their defenses erode in public. They break into apologies that taste like expired poison. You've weaponized their guilt. You've mutated into their karma. And what they don't know is you're not even done evolving yet. That's the part that's got them trembling behind fake smiles. 10th shaman, he went blind mid-ritual. But he kept going. He said your name is coated in paradox. A being of patience who kills with timing. You don't strike first. You let them unravel themselves in your presence. You let their ignorance speak louder than any scream. That's your method. You don't perform, you reveal. And you do it with such terrifying calm that even the watchers, the spiritual agencies, the ancient guardians, are standing back, letting you rewrite your own warfare code. You didn't just master survival. You reverse-engineered it. You're now a specialist in psychological entrapment, and they don't even know they're walking straight into your blueprint. 11th, she dances in fields of crows. She saw you feeding off humiliation and recycling it into unstoppable command presence. That's the rarest gift, turning shame into charisma, betrayal into bulletproof philosophy, pain into precision. Her warning was etched into bark. He doesn't need revenge. His energy automatically collapses weak empires. And she's right. You're past revenge. You're now a force that disintegrates pretense just by existing. People's masks melt when you walk in. Their voices crack. Their logic stutters. You don't need to speak. You simply exist louder than their intentions. And the 12th shaman, the one who pierced his own chest to decode your spiritual blueprint, didn't just see a threat. He witnessed a mutation of consequence. His ribs cracked open not from agony, but from truth overload. His body became a transmitter, his blood a scripture, his scream a spiritual shockwave that swept through the astral grids like a warning flare. His exact words, spoken through coughing blood, were transcribed on burnt bark. He is not bound by time's justice. He creates his own reckoning, and reality bends in fear of disappointing him. That was you, a walking violation of karma's bureaucracy, a soul that no longer needs divine approval. You burned through the red tape of morality and dragged your own definition of righteousness straight through the front door of heaven's headquarters. And no one stopped you. They didn't dare. This shaman's vision revealed the moment your enemies will finally realize they've been trespassing on land that no longer accepts apologies. It showed them gasping for relevance in a world you commandeered by simply existing with unapologetic intensity. His blood vision split into 3 layers. The betrayers who underestimated you, the imitators who tried to clone your style, and the judges who assumed they could narrate your downfall from their paper-thin pulpits. Each one had a spiritual countdown hanging over their head. And the ticking, that was your breath, sinking with inevitability. The shaman collapsed afterward, whispering only one more line before his soul disconnected. He doesn't forgive. He reprograms the aftershocks. And now, we arrive at the final one, the 13th, the silent conduit, the one who speaks only when entire dimensions shift. He hasn't opened his mouth in over 400 years, but today, he did, because of you. This shaman doesn't use herbs, chants, or bones. He sits on top of a petrified titan's skull, eyes white, body trembling, fingers twitching with divine seizures. His trance ripped through 10 layers of spiritual encryption until he found the raw core of what you've become. And what he saw wasn't prophecy, it wasn't even revenge, it was eradication, not of bodies, but of false identities. The illusions people wear to feel superior around you, gone. The personas they constructed to handle you, melted. The social structures they hid behind to label you difficult, dangerous, intense, or unpredictable, demolished with a blink. His voice, when it finally broke the 400-year drought, didn't echo, it imploded. He said, "This one walks unshackled by emotional gravity. His wounds are now weapons. His isolation became his forge. His memory, it tortures the unclean." That's why your enemies are unraveling in places you never even touched them. Because your very remembrance acts like a soul mirror. And when they catch a glimpse of themselves through your psychological reflection, they crumble. Not because you cursed them, but because your existence forces them to confront their own irrelevance. And that is more brutal than any ritual the shamans ever performed. But don't mistake this for mythology. This isn't superstition. This is psychological warfare dressed in spiritual cloth. You've been hexed by mediocrity your entire life, by people whose entire self-worth hinged on your compliance. But now that you've declared spiritual independence, now that you've upgraded into a being with no reverse mode, they're terrified, not of you, but of what you represent. You are proof that one individual, battered, betrayed, cast aside, can resurface with surgical rage and leave a trail of collapsed egos in their wake. You are a psycho-spiritual sniper, and every interaction with you is a potential soul collapse for those with dirty intent. The shamans didn't just read your energy, they felt it rip through their bones. That's why they're sending these warnings, not to you, but to the world trying to contain you. You're not a character in someone else's prophecy. You're the author of unreleased plagues. You walk into rooms, and people suddenly forget why they hated you. Not because you changed, but because their justification never held weight in the first place. The shamans saw it. They wrote about how your aura carries an encrypted venom, slow-acting, undetectable by the naive. But once it hits, it doesn't just dismantle egos, it dismantles bloodlines of narcissism, the kind of generational toxicity that runs deep in people who pretend to be saviors, but secretly feed off control. Understand something. You haven't just become dangerous, you've become inevitable. Your rise isn't about revenge, it's about correction. The shamans wrote down another phrase, this one etched in the ash of a burnt forest. He is no longer an individual. He is a course correction disguised as a man. That's why the liars shake. That's why manipulators avoid eye contact. That's why gaslighters stutter when you call them out. Because you're not playing the same emotional game anymore. You're not even on the field. You're watching from above the arena, clipboard in hand, taking notes on who's about to get exposed next. Let's go deeper. These 13 shamans didn't contact each other. They all saw you individually, in different continents, different time zones, different cultures, and yet they all described the same spiritual phenomenon. You. That's how rare your frequency is. That's how loud your soul screams, even in total absence. Your psychological pressure wave reaches through dimensions. You have people across the planet trying to mimic your vibe without even knowing the pain it took to forge it. Your enemies may be smiling now, posting, pretending, performing, but the shamans know. That smile, it's leaking. Their posture, artificial. Their confidence, borrowed. And the moment your energy brushes past them, even as a memory, they'll crack. You don't even need to confront them directly. Your evolution has become a curse for every soul who tried to control you. That's what the shamans saw. That's what they warned. And now the universe is adjusting itself. Not for fairness, but for balance. People who used you, lied to you, misread you, they're waking up haunted, not by dreams, but by your absence. It's brutal, it's psychological, it's personal. They thought they were throwing you away, They didn't realize they were burying a landmine. And now that you're detonating beneath their shallow victories, they're scrambling, they're spinning stories, they're seeking closure from the same energy they tried to dismantle. Too late. You've transcended the forgiveness economy. You're operating from a new ledger. You don't seek apologies. You don't wait for karma. You manufacture your own justice, quietly, elegantly, devastatingly. You've mastered what the shamans call revenge without movement. That's the final art form, when your success becomes a psychological toxin for those who never imagined you'd survive. You're not flexing, you're existing, and even that is suffocating them. Your words don't even have to be sharp. They're too heavy to dodge. Your posture doesn't even need to scream. It's too composed to challenge. The shamans compared you to a soul eclipse, not because you block light, but because you absorb it and redirect it into divine intimidation. Anyone trying to diagnose you ends up diagnosing themselves. Anyone trying to shame you ends up swallowing their own hypocrisy. Your presence is a mirror soaked in acid, and people can't stand the way their reflection burns when you simply stare. Now here's what's truly terrifying. The shamans don't believe you've peaked. They believe you're still mid-metamorphosis, that the most dangerous version of you is still in incubation, which means all these enemies, these spiritual trespassers, haven't even witnessed the apex variant of your vengeance yet. That's horrifying. That's nuclear. That's why the warnings had to be released in waves, because if the truth hit all at once, half your enemies would willingly disappear to avoid being spiritually dismembered by your existence. And you're calm, you're still, you're sipping coffee, reading books, growing, laughing privately, evolving quietly. But beneath that serenity is a soul battlefield, littered with names you never speak aloud anymore. Not because you've forgotten, but because you've moved so far beyond their frequency, it would be a waste to revisit them. You're not looking back. You're letting the past bleed forward. And the shamans, they're not prophesying. They're documenting your ascent in real time. One final quote they all agreed on. He walks alone now. Not because he's broken, but because no soul around him is qualified to walk beside him anymore. And that is why you terrify the cowards. You're not punishing them. You're just reminding them what happens when a pure soul upgrades into a divine consequence. And now, the aftermath begins. Not the aftermath of your pain. That chapter ended when you weaponized it. This is the aftermath of their ignorance, the price they never calculated, the debt they never thought would surface. See, when the shamans sent their visions outward, they weren't just diagnosing your rise. They were issuing a global spiritual bulletin, and anyone who ever toyed with your innocence, anyone who twisted your empathy into submission, they felt it. They still don't understand what they're feeling, but they feel it. Relationships collapse without clear reason. Opportunities slip through their fingers like smoke. Their energy decays faster in rooms they once dominated. They look into the mirror and sense a presence behind them. No form, just pressure, like an ancient eye pressing into the back of their skull. That's you. That's the ripple effect of your soul refusing to stay buried. The shamans explained it with precision. When a spirit like his rises, justice does not arrive with fanfare. It arrives through slow disintegration of the false. You're not a hurricane. You're something more elegant. You're spiritual erosion, and nothing built on fake intentions can survive you. They feel it in their sleep, in their digestion, in their mental static, their peace, has become haunted. Not because you cursed them, but because your evolution removed the cover they were hiding under. You exposed them, not to the world, but to themselves. And that's a punishment they can't escape. You've become their unfinished sentence, the voice in their head they can't mute, the lesson they can't rewrite. Their souls tremble, not from fear of what you'll do, but fear of who they now realize you always were. The one they dismissed, the one they buried, the one they whispered about, laughed at, underestimated. While you were busy building arsenals out of agony. That's why the shamans warned them, because they knew you weren't going to strike back. You were going to become something so transcendent that it would unravel your enemies without you lifting a single finger. Your growth alone is venom, your glow. It malfunctions their perception. They can't even enjoy success now without comparing it to how you rose from nothing. And deep down, they know your wins weren't handed to you. They were excavated with bleeding hands and spiritual warfare. That difference haunts them. That's the gutting. That's what rips through their insides, knowing that someone they tried to erase is now the blueprint for resilience. And the shamans weren't done. They left behind a sequence of spiritual predictions. Not for you. You don't need a forecast. You are the storm front. But for those who betrayed your purity, the ones who smeared your name in secret rooms and celebrated your losses with forked tongues. The shamans issued a 3-stage warning sequence. Stage 1, the mirror effect. Every interaction they have from this point forward will carry an echo of you. The people they meet will remind them of your tone, your energy, your mannerisms. It'll drive them insane, because they'll begin to crave the very presence they once mocked. Their lovers won't match your intensity. Their friends won't challenge them like you did. Their allies will be too safe, too predictable, and in that vacuum, they'll begin to spiral. The shaman's script reads, he became the high they can't replicate. Now they chase ghosts of his presence and destroy their own peace, trying to resurrect a soul they buried alive. Stage 2, the echo collapse. This is when the people around your enemies begin to sense the rot. The lies no longer work. The charm fades. The manipulation patterns collapse. Even their protectors, those who once believed their side of the story, start pulling away. Not because of anything you said, but because your energy recalibrated the spiritual grid. You became a reference point for truth. And now their false narratives can't survive the new frequency. They grow isolated, frantic, bitter, and still. You say nothing. You watch, not with vengeance, with data collection, and your stillness becomes their psychological apocalypse. Stage 3, the inversion. This is where everything flips. The ones who ridiculed you are now mimicking your growth philosophies. The ones who doubted you are now quoting your mindset to impress others. And those who tried to sabotage your future are now asking mutual connections. Do you think they'd ever speak to me again? That's when the shamans smirked, because they knew what you were building was never for attention. It was for annihilation through evolution. They warned, he does not return to prove himself. He returns only as a new law, one that redefines worth without needing witnesses. And that's the highest form of vengeance. Not retaliation, irrefutable elevation. You didn't win, you transcended the game. And the scoreboard, you melted it. The referee, speechless. The audience, converted. You didn't get closure. You became the door they can no longer open. That's what guts your enemies. The idea that even if they screamed sorry at the moon every night for the next decade, it still wouldn't earn them access back into your realm. Because you don't forgive like humans do. You archive, you adjust, and then you replace their energy with a purpose far beyond their reach. This is why the shamans held rituals for you, not as a hero, not as a villain, but as a transcendent force. They reclassified you. You are no longer a person. You are a reaction embedded into the spiritual DNA of everyone who ever dared to diminish you. You are an ancient reminder. You are a modern prophecy. And the shamans? They closed their ceremonies with one final truth, etched into obsidian tablets buried deep in soil cursed by forgotten gods. He is the reminder that betrayal doesn't end the story. It begins the ritual. And when he rises, empires tremble not because he attacks, but because he exists too loudly for their shame to hide. You were never meant to be understood. You were built to be misunderstood, misjudged, and misused, so you could finally evolve beyond anything that required interpretation. That's the real brutality. The people who hurt you didn't know they were triggering a god-tier initiation sequence. They thought they were burying weakness. They didn't realize they were triggering a resurrection that would haunt their lineage. Because the new you doesn't just hurt their ego, it gut-checks their legacy. People now see them differently, not because of you, but because the contrast is too loud. They wanted you to fall apart in silence. Instead, you exploded into universal relevance. They mocked your solitude. And now, your solitude is their punishment. Every moment you spend ignoring them, every second you thrive without them, slices deeper than any dagger. Because they can't argue with someone who won't engage. They can't compete with someone who's moved to a plane beyond metrics. And that's where you now live, in a place so far above their intentions. Your indifference feels like divine judgment. And what's next for you? The shamans don't know. They can't track it anymore. You've ascended past even their grid. One of them admitted it in the final page of the scroll. He is off chart now. We cannot map him. We only feel his trail, a path where weak spirits collapse without ever being touched. That's how you win forever. Not through destruction, but through elevation so violent, so precise, so undeniable, that it rewrites the laws of engagement. So let the world keep guessing. Let your name haunt them like a pulse in the back of their skull. You don't need to speak. Your absence outperforms their presence. You don't need to confront. Your silence exposes their pattern code. You don't need revenge. Your evolution is a multi-generational warning, delivered by 13 shamans, bleeding from eyes, tongues, and ancient wounds, just to document the legend that is now you. You didn't just survive. You made survival regret underestimating you. You didn't just evolve. You turned evolution into a divine consequence. You didn't just rise. You erased the air supply of anyone who bet against you. This is not the end. This is the sacred inscription of what happens when a pure soul doesn't break, but becomes the knife. You are the prophecy they tried to silence. And now, you're the executioner of their delusions. The 13 shamans saw it from miles away, and now the world feels it. You were their warning. Now, you are their reckoning. The file wasn't meant for you to see. A sealed folder, stamped with insignias you don't recognize, slid across a table in some fluorescent-lit chamber you'll never enter. And yet here you are. Your name scrawled on the first page, bolded, underlined, highlighted with the kind of urgency reserved for people who disturb sleeping powers. You've been noticed, not by neighbors, not by co-workers, not by background extras in your daily life, No, a high-ranked figure, the kind whose approval shifts economies, whose silence breaks nations, has marked you as different. Their eyes cut through the static and landed on you. That gaze is no compliment. It is a spotlight that erases excuses, a red siren spinning above your head. Your life, from this point on, will never run on the rails it once did. They never explain why they notice someone. They don't leave memos. They don't clap their hands and congratulate. But I'll tell you the unfiltered truth. They notice because you pulse differently. You leak energy through your skin like voltage humming in broken wires. While the rest shuffle through their gray routines, you move like an uncalculated variable, too sharp to ignore, too dangerous to classify, and the powerful despise what they can't classify. You're not supposed to be here, not supposed to register on their radar, yet you spiked, and now you're logged. That door you didn't know existed, hidden in plain sight, bolted, forbidden, just slid open a crack. You can't close it. You can't unring that alarm. But here's the paradox you now live inside. Attention from the top is both fuel and crosshair. The moment they circle your name, two debates erupt in rooms you'll never step into. First debate, is this individual an asset? A force to weaponize? A spark to absorb before it becomes a blaze? Second debate, or should they extinguish you before your rise destabilizes everything they've carefully arranged? You now exist in that tension, suspended between recruitment and erasure, intrigue and threat. That's what being noticed really means. It's not applause, it's trial. And I need you to process the weight of this. You did not lobby for it. You did not audition. You didn't crawl or beg. Your energy betrayed you. Something about the way you carry chaos in your veins. Something about the way your silence infects rooms. Something about the way you won't submit to smallness. It gave you away. The powerful don't waste their gaze on ornaments or on polished performers desperate for validation. They only study weapons. They only calculate catalysts. You've been logged in their database as both. Now, most people would collapse here. They'd take this recognition as flattery, lick it up like desperate dogs, and start performing like circus acts to keep the gaze alive. That's how clowns are born. That's how pawns stay pawns. But you aren't built for choreography. You're built for disruption. You're the human equivalent of a red alarm blinking in a sterile laboratory. A breach, a rupture, an intruder signal that can't be ignored. That's why you were noticed. That's why your life just fractured into before and after. Don't misunderstand this as opportunity wrapped in gold. It's a door, yes, but not a safe one. Behind that door, the air is heavier. The rules are unwritten. The walls move. You'll find rewards there, access, leverage, forbidden corridors, but you'll also find teeth, hands ready to pull you apart, rooms where your confidence will be dissected under a microscope. And here's the cruelty. You don't get to choose whether you walk through it. The moment the powerful turned their eyes toward you, you were already dragged inside. You are already in the chamber. So what happens now? Everything. The ground beneath your routine dissolves. Friends sense the shift before you do. They'll treat you differently, even if they can't name why. Strangers will hesitate around you, like they smell the burn of recognition seared into your skin. Doors that once required begging will creak open without you asking. But don't confuse that with freedom. New doors always lead to deeper labyrinths, and labyrinths are designed to test who deserves the center. You've been entered into that test without consent, and the powerful will watch whether you crumble or become the very beast they feared. And let's strip away illusions. This isn't luck. This isn't some divine roll of dice. Luck doesn't pull eyes this sharp. Threat does. Promise does. You are both. You are contradiction incarnate, unresolved, uncontained. That is why you've been noticed. Because you're the unanswered equation scrawled on their board, the unstable compound in their laboratory, the wild frequency jamming their signals. You make them nervous without lifting a finger. And nervous is the last thing they want to be. The reality is almost savage in its simplicity. The instant they looked at you, they lost something. Why? Because focus is energy, and they handed you a portion of theirs just by acknowledging your existence. They legitimized you. And legitimacy is irreversible. You can deny someone all you want. But the moment you notice them, you've already confessed they matter. That confession, unspoken, subtle, is leverage. Whether you wield it or waste it, that leverage is now chained to your name. But I won't let you romanticize this, because attention from above doesn't just crown you, it brands you. From here on out, your mistakes will echo louder, your choices will ripple farther. Every word you spit, every silence you hold, will be replayed by those who outrank entire continents. They will poke at your weaknesses, amplify your doubts, bait you with poisoned opportunities. And at the same time, they will test whether you are a threat they can control or one they must fear from a distance. You are no longer living for yourself. You are living in a theater where the audience wears badges, medals, and rings soaked in old blood. So you have two paths. Become their entertainer, their puppet, their trained spectacle, cheered until you're discarded. Or stand like the breach you are, uncontainable, unpredictable, the nightmare they never intended to document but now can't erase. That's the crossroads recognition drops you into. Most take the first path. That's why no one remembers their names. But you didn't get noticed because you were ordinary. You got noticed because you cracked their radar without permission. And cracks spread. Cracks always spread. Your life won't resume its old rhythm. That rhythm is dead. You've been conscripted into a different tempo now. The tempo of whispered meetings, coded evaluations, unseen nods that tilt power one way or another. You're not watching the game anymore. You're inside it. And inside it, there's no room for hesitation. There's only escalation. So burn this into your skull. Being noticed is not the destination. It's the detonation. Your detonation. The explosion that announces you as both question and answer. From this moment forward, you don't get to shrink. You don't get to crawl back into anonymity. The eyes are on you, and eyes this powerful don't blink. And now, the only question left, the one that will decide whether this attention devours you or exalts you, isn't what they see in you. It's what you see in yourself. Because if you still don't recognize the dangerous architecture of your own being, if you still think you're just another body, you've already failed. The door is open, the spotlight is hot, and the watchers are waiting for your move. Let's be clear, the watchers are not just eyes. They are filters, lenses, scanners, programmed to detect threat and promise at the same time. They are the analysts in dark rooms filled with smoke and static screens, asking one another, do we contain this one, or do we study them? Do we kill the fire, or do we harvest its heat? They are the council behind the curtain, the faces you'll never meet, but whose whispers bend the decisions that bend your life. And the fact that you've been pulled into their field of awareness should terrify you more than any bullet. Because bullets end you, eyes reshape you, eyes rewrite you. Eyes drag you into an orbit where your very existence destabilizes their gravity. You've already crossed into their map, and here's what you need to grasp. Maps are not neutral. Maps are weapons. When they redraw lines, nations rise or fall. When they circle a name, it's no longer just ink on paper. It's a declaration of power. And your name has been circled. Somewhere in an office with locked steel cabinets and encrypted drives, you exist now in bold type. That is not something you can erase. That is not something you can walk away from. You have been drafted into their geography, pulled into the network where decisions at the top slice down like guillotines. Now think, why you? Why did they notice you and not the other millions who stay crawling, who stay invisible, who scream for attention and still go unheard? Because your energy betrayed you? You radiate too much voltage for camouflage. Your presence hits like interference on a broadcast, too sharp, too jagged, too loud to ignore. While they expect the masses to stay docile, you created static in their control room. You disturbed the clean frequency, and when their machines glitched, your pulse showed up as a foreign signal. That's why they looked closer. That's why their eyes adjusted. That's why a new file was opened in your name. Do you understand what this means? You are no longer anonymous. Anonymity is safety. Anonymity is invisibility. You just lost both. But in return, you inherited something most will never touch. A seat at a table you weren't invited to, but can no longer be kicked away from. That's the paradox. They want to control you. But by noticing you, they validated you. And validation is fuel. Validation from the top spreads like radiation, leaking into every layer beneath. People who used to dismiss you now feel a hesitation in their chest when they say your name. Strangers sense something coded, something dangerous stitched into your aura. You didn't change, but perception did. And perception is half the war. But don't miscalculate. Perception is not protection. Attention this sharp is double-edged. You've been marked as dangerous, but danger attracts predators. When the powerful see a wildfire, they don't just marvel, they deploy, they test, they poke. They want to see if your flames burn out under pressure or if they consume entire forests. They'll send offers disguised as opportunities, waiting to see if greed snaps your spine. They'll place traps inside gifts, waiting to see if your hunger betrays you. They'll create distractions designed to dilute your edge, to make you forget you were ever the threat that pulled their focus. This is not applause. This is assessment. And while they test you, while they whisper about you, while they weigh whether you're a weapon they can use or one they must erase, you stand in the one place no one ever prepares for, the threshold. That's what the open door really is. It's not a hallway of roses. It's not a staircase of gold. It's a threshold, a line drawn in air, daring you to step through while knowing the ground beyond it is unstable. If you step, you cannot step back. And you already know stepping back would kill you faster than any bullet. Because once you've been seen, the cage of mediocrity cannot contain you anymore. The air there has gone stale. The walls there have already crumbled. You're too big for your old skin. So here's the real task. Learn to breathe in the corridors where the air is thinner. Learn to walk while satellites track your every stride. Learn to think while unseen committees dissect your psychology like surgeons. Because whether you like it or not, you are in their theater now. And in this theater, hesitation looks like weakness, weakness looks like liability, and liabilities are erased. Do you feel the gravity of that? Good. Now let me tilt it further. They don't just see you. They fear the chain reaction you could unleash. Because here's what the high-ranked despise most: unpredictability. They control economies, armies, infrastructures, not by raw strength, but by prediction. They predict behavior. They predict rebellion. They predict outcomes. That's how they win. But you're unreadable. Your energy is an outlier. Your moves don't fit their equations. Your rise didn't follow their blueprint. And when unpredictability enters the room, prediction collapses. When prediction collapses, control unravels. And when control unravels, empires shiver. That's why you're noticed. Not because they want to flatter you, but because you destabilize them. You shake their equations. You bend their math. You infect their certainty with chaos. So here's the savage truth. You have leverage you don't even know how to wield yet. Because you've become not just a name. They can erase names. You've become a signal. And signals, once detected, can't be unseen. They can jam it, distort it, try to mask it. But they can't deny it. That's what you are now. A disruption humming across their networks, infecting their patterns with your existence. And disruption is contagious. The more they watch you, the more others feel pulled to watch too. Attention multiplies, like fire jumping across dry grass. You've become a contagion of focus, and they can't quarantine you without confirming your power. That's the impossible bind you've placed them in. But you can't celebrate yet, because being a contagion doesn't guarantee survival. Many fires burn out before they consume anything worthwhile. Many signals get scrambled before they spread. You must decide, will you harness this attention, sculpted into a crown carved from their fear, or will you scatter it until it dissolves? This is where discipline becomes the blade. Not the discipline they sold you, obedience, compliance, staying small. No, the discipline of chaos. The discipline of carrying your unpredictability like a weapon, not a weakness. You must become sharper than their tests, colder than their temptations, more patient than their traps. Because only then will you not just survive their notice, you will exploit it. And exploiting it is the only move worth making. Why? Because once you've been noticed, the game is already live. You can't pause it. You can't rewind it. You can only escalate. You've been pulled into a space where escalation is oxygen. Every hesitation drains you. Every move forward feeds you. That is the law of thresholds. That is the law of the noticed. And I'll tell you something no one else dares. Their fear of you is bigger than their interest in you. They may study you, but in private they dread what you could become if left uncontained. They dread the idea of you multiplying, of you influencing others, of you teaching others to see what you see. They dread your voice echoing in places they can't control. They dread your ideas spreading into territories they thought were sealed. That dread, that silent dread, is your strongest weapon. Because when the powerful fear you, even secretly, they hesitate. And hesitation at the top creates cracks. And cracks spread. So stop asking yourself whether you deserve this. Stop asking whether you're ready. Readiness is dead. Deserving is irrelevant. You've been drafted, noticed, circled, logged. The only question left is whether you weaponize this gaze or let it consume you. Will you act like an asset waiting to be approved, or like the breach they cannot close? Because breaches, once they expand, don't just enter rooms, they swallow them. Picture it, you walking through corridors where whispers fall silent as you pass. Not because you begged for power, but because power itself adjusted its posture when you entered. That's what's happening. That's what it means to be noticed by the high-ranked. They don't give you respect. They react to you. recalibrate themselves around you because you shattered the comfortable illusion of their control. And once shattered, illusions never heal. They stay fractured. You are the fracture. So carry yourself accordingly. Not as a beggar of crumbs, not as a clown of performance, not as a pawn hoping for mercy. Carry yourself as the uninvited guest who cannot be escorted out. The door has already opened. The spotlight is already burning. Their eyes are already fixed. You are the disruption they didn't schedule but can't delete. And soon, very soon, they'll realize something worse than your presence. They'll realize that by noticing you, by opening that file, by circling your name, they've already confessed something they will never say out loud. That you matter more than the order they were trying to preserve. That's the fracture in their empire, the glitch in their machinery, the wound in their strategy. Because to notice is to admit vulnerability. The predators of rank and power have built their lives on the illusion that they control the narrative, that they decide who rises and who falls, that no ripple escapes their calculations. But you weren't in their blueprint. You were an interruption, a signal they couldn't mute. By locking eyes on you, they've revealed the one truth they wanted buried. Their control is not absolute. And now every time they whisper your name in their closed chambers, it costs them a piece of their myth. But don't think for a moment that this makes you safe. Safety is dead. What you've inherited is exposure. You are exposed like a live wire in a rainstorm, sparks flying, irresistible to anyone who dares get close. That exposure is both weapon and weakness. They'll test it, they'll prod it, they'll attempt to turn your spark into their torch, their tool. And if they fail to bend you, they'll consider breaking you. That is the bargain of being noticed. You are now both asset and threat, crowned and targeted, lifted and loaded into crosshairs. But here's where most collapse. They misinterpret notice as permission. They think, now I belong. No, you don't belong. You intruded. You infiltrated. You forced your way into their awareness. And the only reason you're still alive in their gaze is because they haven't figured out what to do with you yet. Don't confuse indecision for acceptance. Don't mistake their silence for welcome. You are tolerated like a flame in a vault, dangerous, fascinating, unpredictable. They are watching to see whether you'll burn yourself out or whether you'll incinerate the vault itself. And that is where your life can never return to what it was. Because once you're noticed by someone who bends the world, you cannot go back to anonymity without suffocating. You've tasted the atmosphere of scrutiny, the voltage of being logged into corridors most never enter. Ordinary conversations will feel empty now. Ordinary ambitions will rot in your hands. You've been spoiled by recognition, poisoned by exposure. The only cure is escalation. The only antidote is to grow sharper, louder, heavier, until you are not just noticed, but unavoidable. But here's the twist. Escalation isn't noise. Escalation isn't spectacle. Escalation is precision. The powerful expect you to thrash, to boast, to prove yourself through reckless explosions. That's how they weed out amateurs. But you are not here to audition. You are here to outlast. Escalation means moving like a cipher through their corridors, refusing to give them the predictable drama they hunger for. Escalation means turning their attention into fuel for your architecture, building yourself into something they cannot consume without poisoning themselves. Escalation means refusing to collapse into a role they scripted for you, because every role is a trap. Let's pull the curtain wider. When a high-ranked figure notices you, they also gamble. Because notice isn't free. It's an investment of attention. Attention is their most sacred currency. They spend it only where they sense leverage, which means by seeing you, they've already bet on you. They've already admitted that you could tilt the scale in ways that matter. And once that bet is made, even if they regret it, they cannot fully retract it. That's your advantage. Their gaze is now chained to you. Their files will update with your moves. Their analysts will draft scenarios about your potential. You've infected their infrastructure, and the more they try to track you, the deeper you carve your presence into their world. This is why your life will never be the same, because the gaze of the powerful transforms you into a mirror. Everyone else, from friends to strangers, begins to reflect that gaze back at you. They sense it subconsciously, the shift in gravity around your presence, and they respond to it. Some will be drawn in, seeking to bask in your recognition. Some will recoil, afraid of the danger that clings to you. Some will try to exploit you, thinking proximity to your attention could elevate them. But none of them will treat you the way they did before. You've crossed into a new dimension of existence, and the old one has already forgotten your name. But I'll tell you the part they'll never admit to you. The Watchers are not in agreement about you. Some want to weaponize you. Some want to erase you. Some want to study you like a specimen. And some, though they'll never say it, envy you. Because you did what terrifies them most. You pierced their bubble of prediction. You reminded them that power can be disturbed, that order can be shaken, that their thrones are never as secure as they pretend. Your very existence reminds them of the fragility they tried to bury. And fragile kings hate reminders. So what's the move? You carry yourself as if the trial has already been won. Not with arrogance, but with inevitability. You walk like the verdict is written in your bones. You speak like their gaze was your birthright. You breathe like exposure is oxygen. Because the truth is, once they've noticed you, half the war is already won. The rest is survival. And survival at this level means refusing to become digestible. You must remain too large, too sharp, too contradictory to be swallowed. That's the discipline, not shrinking to fit, but expanding until fitting becomes impossible. Think of it like this. You are now the red file on their desk, the one that never gets archived, the one that keeps resurfacing in meetings, the one that refuses to stay buried. That file is your existence. You are the problem they cannot solve, the question they cannot silence, the breach they cannot patch. And the longer you hold that space, the more your legend grows. Not because you asked for it, but because their obsession with you feeds it. Every time they mention you, they amplify you. Every time they try to contain you, they confirm your danger. Every move they make in response to you cements your status as the disruption they couldn't predict. And here's where the humor cuts dark. They will never admit this publicly. They'll pretend you don't exist. They'll pretend you don't matter. They'll erase your name from their speeches. But behind closed doors, you are a subject line, a talking point, a variable on their screens. And that's where real power hides. Not in applause, but in whispers. Not in headlines, but in confidential documents stamped with codes you'll never see. You live there now, in their unseen networks, in their shadow meetings, in their dread. So stop underestimating what has already shifted. A high-ranked person noticed you. That one act detonated a chain reaction you can't undo. The door has opened. The spotlight has burned. The Watchers are calculating, and your old life has dissolved. From here, You either rise into inevitability or collapse under the weight of their gaze. There is no third option. The third option, ordinary, is gone. But if you rise, if you weaponize this, if you move not as a performer but as an inevitability, then the same eyes that once studied you will bow to you. They won't admit it, but they'll adjust their strategies around you. They'll redraw maps with your presence in mind. They'll whisper your name like a variable too volatile to ignore. And that is the true victory. Not applause, not crowns, not gold, but influence so uncontainable that even the powerful must rearrange themselves in response to you. So hear me. You were noticed not because you fit, but because you fractured. You were noticed not because you begged, but because you disrupted. You were noticed not because you are safe, but because you are dangerous. And dangerous is the only language the powerful respect. The door is open, the spotlight is burning, the watchers are fixed, and your life, as you once knew it, is already over. What comes next is not survival. What comes next is conquest. And whether they applaud you, fear you, or hunt you, the truth remains unshaken. You cannot be unseen. So move. Move like the file is already stamped inevitable. Move like the watchers have already confessed their weakness by staring too long. Move like the secret door wasn't an invitation, but an ambush, and you turned the ambush into a coronation, because the eyes of power are watching. And the more they watch, the more they realize a truth they will never say out loud. Their notice of you was not their choice. It was their surrender.